Welcome to another episode of the House Huddle Podcast. Here are your hosts, Rob Schwartz and Justin Onayemi, two Bears fans who decided talking into a microphone was better than shouting at their television.
Welcome in, House Huddlers.
Huddle up!
I got so excited. I was like looking at things on my phone and I wasn't producing.
I don't know what was happening there. Yeah, you missed a beat. I wasn't even looking. We're a little rusty.
It's all right. It's all right.
And we're just in a state of, I don't know, pure
Euphoria.
Jubilation. There you go.
Euphoria. Yeah.
Bears are just exciting.
Very exciting.
And so is the House Huddle.
So is the House Huddle. This is episode 50, 80. Wow. 81. Oh my gosh.
You can tell we pretty much just shoot it and post it because we're not editing any of this out.
No,
You're getting the raw,
raw
mistakes
cut.
and everything.
That's
50.
right.
Where'd that come from?
I don't know. Maybe I'm feeling 50.
Oh man, if that was the case, then it's appropriate. I feel 81. So
Yeah. 81.
okay, so with every episode we go with a jersey. We're gonna have to figure something out soon once we get to triple digits. But
Yeah.
we go with a jersey number of a bear, hopefully a bear legend, but sometimes not so much.
No.
So without research or anything, we both had a guy or two. Who'd you have?
I had no.
Oh, you had no one?
I thought
I had
Bernard,
Jeff Graham.
Okay, so I thought Bernard Berrien, but I can't remember if
I
he
think he was
actually
80.
81. Okay.
I think he was 80.
We might have
And
talked
we
about
talked
him
about it
last
already,
week.
but at that time I didn't know fact check if we were right.
Yeah.
But Jeff Graham came to mind, and then
Okay.
Rasheed Davis came to mind.
When you said Rasheed Davis, I was like, oh yeah.
So those were the two that just jumped out at me. But then
mediocre wide receiver all the way.
Yeah. So then I just looked it up to kind of like make sure we were right and get some others. Forgotten Bobby Ingram, although I think he might have also wore 84.
84.
But maybe I'm thinking of when he went to Seattle. But anyway,
Yeah.
81 was Bobby Ingram. And then JP Holtz more recently.
Okay.
Even more recent than that, actually, is Jake Tongues.
Okay. Yep. The fullback /
Yeah.
H-back.
Ahmad Merritt might be a name people remember. Cam Meredith.
Cam Meredith. If it wasn't for that ACL.
And then here's one. Sam Hurd. Whoops.
Is he still in prison?
Pretty good chance. Pretty good chance. So we're not going with the Sam Hurd episode.
No.
I think we got to go either Jeff Graham or Rasheed Davis. Who do you got?
I mean, you had Jeff Graham in mind like right away, so I just think we should just make it the Jeff Graham episode.
All right, there we go.
Graham
Jeff
crackers too. Like I don't know, I'm kind of hungry. I didn't eat dinner, so
yeah, me too. So well, anyway, the number is 81. But what's the topic, Rob?
So the topic is schedule release. Yes,
We're pumped.
we are pumped. This is actually a special recording night for us. We usually record on Sundays, publish on Mondays, but it is Thursday, so just the day after schedule release. And yeah, real quick, as always, I'm Rob Schwartz, not with CHGO, with Bear Goggles on.
I'm Justin Onayemi, not with the Chicago Bears.
No, maybe one day. Maybe
maybe one day.
Maybe. I mean, Ryan Poles is listening,
right?
I mean,
He's
he
younger than me.
takes.
He's younger than me.
Yeah, that's okay. He's got some oldies on that staff.
True.
Anyway, so the schedule release was awesome. Before we get into schedule, we're gonna go ahead and do some game by game predictions on where we think they're gonna end up, what our final record is gonna be.
So what's interesting is before schedule release, you always know who they're gonna play, you just don't know the sequence.
Correct.
So I had just in my mind thought of wins, losses, where I would see them finishing, and
Yeah.
I had a record in mind. So then schedule release, we were doing the week by week wins and losses. I came out one game over, and then I looked even closer at the schedule and had a reason to make a switch and landed back on my original prediction. So
people might have already read my article that came out yesterday. If so,
you got to stay consistent.
You
right?
can cheat because you'll know exactly where I'm going with this. However, what I did is I pre-planned. So I think I like this way better, actually. I picked which games I think they were going to win, not knowing what order they were going to be in. And it kind of when it got put together, I was like, oh, I don't know if I like the way that this looks. But then at the same time, I was like, I'm going to stay consistent with it.
So to that point, I got to ask you, and I guess they're making a huge schedule for 32 teams. It's a pretty
Yes.
complex process.
Not if you use artificial intelligence.
Well, of course. I mean, and they obviously are using all sorts of things, but
right.
I feel like you would want the schedule to represent the reality of what the wins and losses should be and not have the schedule kind of dictate wins and losses.
Yes.
Not that they fully do, but I have one. The one I changed was when I took a closer look and said, that's a disadvantage. That's disadvantageous. That's a long word.
Disadvantage. Yeah.
This episode's off to a great start. So I kind of felt like the schedule was the reason I changed my pick.
Yeah.
And you would want to have a schedule that's neutral in a sense.
But there are quirks, and we're going to talk about those later,
part of what
right?
We're going to talk about.
And those quirks can affect how a team plays. Like, are you on short rest versus long rest? Is the team you think you're going to beat coming off a bye, and you're coming off of 4 game or 2 games in 8 days or something like that, right? Like, those things matter.
Well, I have a bunch of those that I looked at and I want to kind of talk about. We'll throw some of those out.
We were going to get to that. We did want to touch, though, first, prior to schedule release, was rookie camp.
Yeah.
Right?
It came and went.
And we saw a bunch of excellent videos of Caleb Williams throwing completion after completion after completion, except for one guy. I don't think he's making the team. He did not get signed.
Yeah.
I don't even know his name.
Yeah.
But he's number 88.
He came and he went. He won't be the name for number 88 episode.
He will not be, which I have a name for number 88, by the way.
All right.
And if we don't go with that name, I'm going to be very disappointed.
82 is going to be a good one too, I think.
Okay.
So anyway.
So Caleb Williams throwing some awesome passes. There was a guy, number 12, who I thought made a really nice catch.
Are you joking right now? Oh, okay.
No, but he wasn't, and he even had like the dreads, I thought for sure it was Velus Jones because I wasn't like, you just see the video, you see 12, you see the dreads out the helmet. I'm like, whoa, what a catch by Velus Jones. And, it was honestly supposed to be an over-the-shoulder type pass. It was a little bit short, so he high-pointed it. But he caught it with just his hands. And I got a lot of flack on Twitter for this because people are trying to tell me I don't know what an over-shoulder catch is. And I do. And I was told by someone that things have changed over the last 4 to 5 years on how receivers are supposed to catch that ball. And this kind of goes to the Roma Dunze part of it is late hands. So as that ball is coming, they don't want to put their hands out. Yeah. And this is what 88 did. 88's like this. And then the ball bloop, goes through, right?
And you're tipping off the DB.
Exactly. And that's the reason why they're supposed to be doing it this way. And if it's even, let's say, for example, they're running on the left side, ideally, it would be let it come over the top, and you're actually catching it here where the DB can't get it.
DJ Moore last season, I recall, had a catch that was very much like that. Where he just let it go over him, let it go over the DB, and just put his hands right there at the right time.
So look, I get the difference between the two, even though people might not think that I do. I had an issue with people using their bodies to catch the ball. And my reasoning is, and I was taught this way when I was younger, 20 plus years ago, guys, I'm 40 years old. Like, I'm sure things have changed. But when I was running with the tight ends, you were supposed to catch the ball with your hands, pull it into your body, not, and I have a football right here, not catch it with your body.
Right.
The reason being, a lot of times it goes like that, right? It goes right through the breadbasket. I get that there's a pocket there, but the pocket, a lot of times, you got to put your elbows in order to make that pocket not go through. And you saw 2 guys catch it like this and even bobble it. And yes, they did hold on to the ball. Fantastic. Good job. You caught the ball. But
risky. And you're going to get hit too.
I would rather see you catch the ball,
secure it
here, and pull it in. And there's a difference. There is a difference.
Man, we're going deep on the Hallis Huddle. Catch techniques.
I got to defend myself.
Now, you played a while ago. Was there a mask on the front of the helmet, or was it just leather?
It was no. We had the single bar. Yeah, single. No. I was an offensive lineman. I was too big to play tight end, even though I tried. I had great hands, but I was a little bit slow. And
what was your RAS score?
So if there was an RAS score for me when I played, and guys, I didn't even play for my high school team. This was
Pee-wee?
Junior high.
What do they call it?
Junior high.
Okay.
Pop Warner. Right? I broke my leg my 8th grade year, so I was not able to play. My mom would not sign my waiver slip. So, but if I were to give myself an RAS score, I'd probably be in the 4s at that point.
Okay.
I was a striper. Okay. I was a striper. And if you've played organized football, you know what a striper is, because I was so big, they had to put a stripe on my helmet because I weighed too much. And yeah,
Look out for that dude.
That's
okay.
right. That's
wow. Nice.
Offensive and defensive line. That was me.
All
Played
right.
both ways.
So where you want to go? Oh, we were talking about rookie minicamp.
Rookie minicamp. So nothing really stood out. You don't get to see much. The Caleb Williams release, though, oh my God. We talk about Justin Fields' elongated release.
It's out.
His release is even better on these Chicago Bears videos than what I can recall watching it film.
Right.
And it's
Well,
just
he's been working
nothing.
Too.
It's literally nothing. Roma Dunze did a good job, but he ended up only practicing once. He got hurt.
So I think one thing I want to point out is Torrey Taylor had a bunch of shanks. He must have seen Caleb Williams throw and be like, I'm never going to get to punt around here.
So, yeah.
But then I heard he kind of had some jitters at first.
Yes,
and then,
that's what he interviewed actually with CHGO. Again, I'm not affiliated. I'm a diehard, but I'm not a CHGO media member. But yeah, they interviewed him, and yeah, he had the jitters.
Okay.
But from what I was told by listening to Adam Johns and Adam Hogue podcast, he cleaned it up.
Yeah,
real fast.
Okay.
So
I mean, I'm not worried, but
I'm not worried either.
More of a joke.
He can't be any worse than
you see
Trenton
Caleb
Gill.
Williams. He says, "You're not punting, dude."
That's right.
You get a little
That's
nervous. Like, what am I here to do?
All right, I think that's enough.
Yeah.
With
Let's
OT.
move on.
Okay.
Let's move on.
Before we get into the actual schedule and the quirks, did you get a chance to see the video release that they put out?
That was pretty cool.
It was cool. Like,
Yeah.
So last year they did like a like a take on the show The Bear, which is like Chicago-based
deli or restaurant. Right?
Restaurant. It's like a hot dog beef place, right? They actually use a place that I walk past every Thursday called Mr. Beef. That video was okay. Like, it was good. It was definitely a step up from things that they've done in the past. This was great.
Yeah.
Spice Adams, by the way, absolutely fantastic. He carried it a lot. DJ Moore, the acting needs to get a little bit better, but
no, just the football. Don't worry about the acting.
He did a good job pretending to be Ferris Bueller, right?
Yeah.
Like, he just had that little quirk, he's got that smile, right?
It was good.
I'm blanking on her name, Lauren something, who's with the Chicago Bears with Spice Adams, did the Mean Girls thing. She's like, I saw DJ wearing a beige jacket, so I bought a beige jacket.
Yeah, awesome. Shot in Chicago land, like schools.
Yeah, was that
Natura was part of it.
Natura was part of it. Okay,
but I think it's where they shot some of those Chicago films.
It was I can't remember the name of it. Gary Ross actually told me the name of it, and I completely am spacing on it. But part of it was shot at Soldier Field. There was a part where Tevin Jenkins is like, it's kind of a spinoff of Home Alone, right? Tevin, and he's just like sitting there like
the bye week.
Where is everyone? There's a lot of really good like hints at movies. The one thing I was a little confused with is Mean Girls wasn't from the 80s. I thought everything was kind of 80s
in Chicago,
right? But like it seemed like most of the movie things were from like things.
Yeah, but I just thought it was Chicago-based movies that were teen type movies or whatever.
That could be. But if you haven't seen it yet, go check it out. It's on their YouTube channel. It is absolutely fantastic. I would say from what I've seen so far, it's number 2 of the video releases. I saw the Packers one. I thought it was kind of The best part of that was John Kuhn and Big Cat from not Bleacher Report. What's the Saturdays are for the boys? David Portnoy. Why can't I think of the damn thing?
Don't worry about
Barstool.
it. Okay.
Barstool Sports. Okay, he's a part of Barstool Sports. That part was funny. Everything else was just kind of like, eh. But the Chargers have the best media release team. They did it again this year. They did a Sims spinoff. It was fantastic.
Okay.
A lot of shots at other teams, including Harrison Butker. They put him in the kitchen.
Oh my god, that guy's should have put in a clown car or something.
Well, clowns. They actually made the Raiders Sims. They turned them into clowns. And what's funny is there's a QR code, and if you scan it, actually takes you to some like clown association legit website.
Wow,
they're very detailed in what they do.
I've seen some of their social media stuff.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
All right, so what do you want to do? Like reveal the schedule and talk about it, because in general, and then go through our picks.
Yeah, let's do that.
Sounds good. So, well, there's one thing I want to mention that not quite yet, but the idea of there being a release time and day, but then all the leaks come out kind of threw me off for a little bit there. But Eventually, we get the schedule, and the first thing I thought, big picture, probably the same thing as you.
I'm thinking I'm changing my mind. So I have a video, but I want to use that for when we make our picks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm saying let's just talk about the general
Let's just talk about
stuff
the generalities.
first. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So the picks come out. I mean, do you want to say what they are?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So week 1, let's just look at it maybe quarter by quarter. Week 1, they play the Tennessee Titans
At home.
It's a noon game. I know Adam Hogue hates that it's not a primetime game. Where's the Caleb Williams hype? But guess what? I don't care. The reason I don't care is because they get a primetime game in week 2 against the Texans.
Yep. Sunday Night Football.
Give the kid a chance to actually get acclimated. I'm perfectly okay with that.
Well, and the Bears may be this year's Texans is the thought.
That would be fantastic.
So they put that game week 2 at Texans. Then week 3, why not just stay in the AFC South?
Yeah, there's a bunch.
So then
of
you
AFC
go
South.
at Colts in week 3.
At Colts, yep.
And then home Rams.
Home Rams.
So that's the first 4.
Yeah.
Home against Carolina.
Yes.
Then the London game. Which is a home game.
It's a home game. And now here comes Rob's rants. And I didn't put the logo
I
up.
knew that was your rant.
Here's my rant.
I knew that was your rant.
As a season ticket holder, the Chicago Bears sent out a letter in February stating that there was going to be an increase on season ticket prices. They specifically said season ticket packages. Okay. Now, I didn't get the actual letter. It goes to my sister. These are shared tickets, so I did not read it word for word. Apparently, there was talk about the fact that there was only 8 games plus a preseason game. 9 games total. We inherited these tickets in 2020. We have always had 10 games. Whether it was, even after they went to the 17-game schedule, whether it was 8 home games, 2 preseason, or the very next year, 9 home games, 1 preseason. 10 games will be paid for year over year over year. Since, 2020 was canceled because of COVID. My issue that I have with this is be upfront, be transparent. Don't hide behind bullshit numbers. Your letter talks about, there's going to be an 8% increase on your season ticket package. Fantastic. We didn't get one the year before. I didn't have a problem with the fact that it would be an average of 8%. Turns out my package is only 7% compared to the year before. They had a range of 6.2 to 11.3. All in their little fancy letter that was published. It was all over every credible news outlet. However, that 7% increase, you break it down by game, it's an 18.9% increase. Not 7, not 11.3. Just be transparent so I don't feel like a fucking moron when I'm looking at this and do I get a credit for the game that I'm not getting now that that's a home game in London? No, because if I really read the letter, it was only for 9 games. Great, you're fantastic. I only said, fuck you. No, it's 18.9. 18.9. 18.9. And I know this sounds entitled and I don't care. It's really frustrating. Just be transparent. Just be transparent. I wouldn't care if you literally said, you're going to have 18% increase. I'd be like, oh, what the hell? This is bullshit, blah, blah, blah. But I wouldn't be this upset about it. I don't like feeling misconstrued. It was like you literally worked the numbers to make it look like it was something that it really wasn't.
They told you it was a 7% increase?
Yes, this was legitimately from Kevin Warren himself.
They said it in the letter to you? Or he said the number of what it is to
11.3 with an average of 8% over all, every package is an average of 8%. Increase.
That part. So the price you paid was 8% more.
Correct. 7% for mine.
Okay, 7% more.
Yes.
But what you paid for last year was 10 games.
Correct.
And this year you're paying for 9.
Correct. And guess what? We have this as an investment too. We sell a lot of our tickets. I have one less game to sell. I don't care if it's a preseason game. I still make money off of it. Again, I sound like an entitled asshole. But guess what? It's what I pay for. It's what I do. It's been a part of my family since the 80s.
Whew.
All right.
Rob's rant.
And
he's back, everyone.
All right.
Calm, happy.
Yeah. Ice.
Euphoric Rob.
Fire and ice. We forgot the most important thing. Jake Johnson was the narrator.
Oh, yes. That made it better too.
Oh, that was
and he's
fantastic.
like, "Can you hear me?"
Yes, which was just like in the movie.
Right.
But yeah, Julius Pepperwood himself, Nick Miller himself, aka Peter Parker Spider-Man,
a future guest on the House Huddle.
Yes. Oh my God, I would die.
Well, don't die, because
I
then
would-
he'd have to host with me going forward, and I don't know.
I mean, people might prefer.
He might
that.
not have as cool of a basement.
People might prefer.
He
You
probably
just have
does.
my basement. Ashley be fine.
He gets it in your will.
Yeah.
My basement goes to Jake Johnson.
If he podcasts.
All right.
Yes, for sure.
Sorry, Bob Weiss. I'm going with Jake Johnson.
Yeah. Sorry.
My new co-host. All right, we are way off here.
Way off. Okay, so week 7, they win. It's a bye week.
We're not at the wins and losses yet, but
Okay.
bye week after London
Bye week.
makes a whole lot of sense.
Yes.
Then they go at Commanders week 8.
Yes.
Are
you doing this by memory? Because I'm trying.
I
to
was.
memory
Oh,
too.
this is the mess up.
Yes.
So the leak had it going to
Yes.
49ers, and I thought that was what it was.
And I originally did too.
And I just ran with it, but it's actually at Cardinals week 9.
At Cardinals week 9. Gary Ross,
There
friends
you
of
go.
the show, friends of CHGO also, had it right. He had told me that the 49ers were going to be week 14. And then the Tribune published their full leaked schedule
Wow.
by Brad Biggs.
Incredible.
And they had those 2 games flipped. And I'm like, oh, Gary Ross got one wrong. Nope. Gary got it right.
Wow.
Gary got it right.
And the Trib. got it wrong.
Yes, that's right.
That's why I don't get the whole leak thing. But anyway.
I don't either, but I was just happy to get it early because I wanted to get my article out as soon as I could at 7.
So I was going to go from memory, but I don't want to mess anything up, and I think we got to get on with it. But
Yep.
home against the Patriots week 10, home against the Packers. We'll talk about this. Home against the Packers. Have they played anyone in their division yet? In week 11, home against the Vikings week 12, at the Lions Thanksgiving Day week 13, then at the 49ers. So that was the mess up in week 14. At Vikings week 15, home against the Lions week 16, home against the Seahawks week 17. I'm going to come back to that one. And then at the Packers to close out the season, just like they did last year in week 18.
They get 3 primetime games by the nighttime rule. A Sunday night, a Monday night, and a Thursday night. Everybody plays a Thursday night, but Sunday night, Monday night, Thursday night. And they play on Thanksgiving Day, which I consider a primetime game.
Yep.
Some people want to call the London game a primetime game. Based on what I told Greg Braggs at CHGO, I said, look, they're the only game on Thanksgiving. It's a primetime game. Like, everyone's going to be watching it. But then I said, no, it can't be a primetime game for the London game because it's 6:30 in the morning on the West Coast. No casual fan is getting up for that game.
Right.
But he's like, look, if you're going to say it's the only game on for Thanksgiving, then it's a
lot of eyes are going to be on that game.
100%.
So, especially,
And how is it a home game, though? I mean, I know they travel well, but Jaguars, like, internationally, that's their second home.
Well, they're staying for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So I'm sure one is home and one's away. Don't you think?
Well, it is, but I'm just saying,
It shouldn't have been the Bears.
From a fan standpoint,
yeah,
they travel well too because they've been living there for the last 8 years.
Well, they needed to threaten to move there so that they could get their stadium through, which they just did.
Right.
So,
what other quirks do you got?
All right. So my quirks are all the division games week 11 to the end.
Yeah.
Now that's weird, I think, but
6 division games in 8 weeks.
Right. I mean, you just hope they're healthy at that time and things like that. But I think it's nice because you have a rookie quarterback with a new offensive coordinator. This gives them time to kind of get things where they need to be before the games that, not that every game matters. Let's be real honest. Every game matters, but your division matters more and your conference matters more. So you start three games in a row and it's AFC South. A loss is still a loss, but those don't hurt you as much with tiebreakers and other things like that.
Panthers are week 5, right? So, and Jaguars are week 6. So it's literally 5 out of the
Panthers
first 6.
are NFC.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. They're NFC South, not AFC South. So 2 out of the first 6 games are NFC. So 4 AFC.
So that was really a quirk that I think everyone kind of picked up right away.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. There's no perfect schedule. There really isn't. When you look at this, though, when you look at how many teams they're facing that are supposed to be under 8 games, 8 wins, 500, right? There's 5 according to Vegas. 5 teams that are not going to finish above 8
Well, and
wins.
if you look at strength of schedule based of last year's, which I don't really love doing that because I think the Bears look a lot different than last year.
Right.
But they have the 3rd easiest schedule.
Correct.
Which they are a last place team.
Correct.
Right. So they're getting a last place schedule. But 3 straight road games. I have here in my notes Detroit, Arizona, Minnesota. It's actually Detroit, San Francisco, Minnesota. That's a rough stretch.
That is.
Now 3 home games, but one of them is London, are in a row.
Right.
So that's the ultimate non-home game.
Right.
So that doesn't really, because you kind of think if you have 3 road, maybe you can offset that with a stretch at home. But the 3 in a row that are home is 1 in London.
So I will give this credit to Adam Hogue. He pointed this out. The most crucial part of the season during that span that we were just talking about with those division games, they have 3 games in 10 days.
That's
followed by an opponent that they have never beat.
Right. So I put here extra rest going into week 18 at Packers. That could be an important, meaningful game. And maybe that's one slight thing that will favor the Bears. But on the flip side is they played 3 games in 10 days, like you said.
Right.
That's not good. That was the thing that made me change one of my picks.
And when they face the Packers in week 11, the Packers are coming off their bye.
I didn't look that deep.
They
I wanted
week
to.
10 bye.
Wow. Interesting.
So they have extra time to prepare.
Well, and it's like people think your division, but people aren't going to feel that much that way with the Bears this year, I don't think.
Yeah.
But again, we don't see our division until week 11. There's going to be a lot of film. There's going to be a lot of tape on how we look.
Right.
So I put here both Lions games will be on short rest. Now, on Thanksgiving, I'm assuming, I didn't look this deep, but I'm assuming they play the Sunday before. So both teams will be on short rest of 4 days.
Yeah.
But
I didn't look that far either.
But the other one is week 16, and the Bears are coming off of a Monday night game.
Right.
So they're only on 6 days, whereas the Lions would have the full 7.
Yeah.
So that's not the best.
The good news is they're playing the J.J. McCarthy-led Vikings on Monday night. So
they can rest all their starters
basically
in the second half.
It's like a preseason game.
You're on record of saying that now. So, yeah, that's pretty much the stuff I got.
I've already said everything that I had as well. So why don't we take a break?
All right.
And then we'll come back and go through the schedule.
All right. Sounds great. And we are back. Episode 81. Sam Hurt. Oh. No, I don't know. After your rant, maybe you need some of the stuff. I don't remember what stuff he was dealing or whatever.
I don't remember either.
It was a lot of it. I remember that.
That's true.
So, that was probably up until last season the biggest thing that went through Hallis Hall in terms of legal. Remember you heard FBI was there or whatever. I remember that being quite escalated.
Outside of some domestic stuff that didn't happen.
Right. Oh, Alonzo Spellman maybe or something.
That. The guy, the defensive tackle from the 49ers that they brought in the 1 year, McDonald or something.
But that didn't happen on site, did it?
No. Nothing happened on site. Yeah. There was the punch that was thrown. Was that
Olin Kreutz?
No.
Oh, no.
I mean, that happened during the game, but it was
no. I thought in the weight room or something.
Or maybe it was the weight room, but I thought it was on the field. But no, this one happened. It was 2 receivers.
I don't remember. And
they were I think Bellamy might have been involved.
Really?
Yeah. They were not very good receivers.
That kind of reminded me of something not football related at all. But apparently when Jimmy Butler got hurt in that play-in game or something, they lost the play-in game to then play the Bulls.
Yeah.
But Tyler Hero went, he was 4 for 28 or something. He shot terribly. I don't remember what it was. 4 for 20, let's say.
Okay.
And I think there was words on the team bus, and he tried to punch Jimmy Butler and missed. And he goes, "Now 4 for 21." You couldn't hit anything that night. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
Anyway, off the topic. So we talked about the schedule, some of the quirks.
Yeah.
But now we're gonna go game by game, wins and losses. We did not discuss this.
We did not.
You did say you wrote an article on it, though.
I did.
So I didn't peek at it on purpose because I want to get your.
I didn't tell you about it.
Yeah, so I don't know your picks. You don't know mine.
Yeah.
And we're going to just see. I did have a record in my head, like I said, before even seeing the schedule. And somehow, magically, I landed on that again.
I had a record that also just magically happened as well.
All right, pretty cool.
People are not going to be happy with me, though.
Rob produced an amazing video that we're going to put up in the background. So I also have not seen this.
Yeah.
So I'm in for a treat, as are you guys.
All right, here we go. Week 1. Okay. Noon game. Tennessee Titans. Will Levis.
All right.
Little Levi jeans. They are not predicted to win more than 8 games this year. They are not. However, they got Snead, right? The corner from Kansas City, who had an unbelievable year last year. Their other corners are very, very good. They got a good defensive front, especially on the interior of that defensive front. Again, I did all of these picks prior to this happening, knowing which games were going to be where. I have Tennessee winning this game.
But did you stick to all those picks regardless of where they fell?
Yes.
Oh, see, I didn't do that.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do it however you want to do it, but I thought what you were saying was you had an idea of who you thought would happen, and then based on the schedule, you might adjust certain ones.
I did not, because I didn't get into the quirks before I published.
Interesting. Okay.
But yeah, I what I wrote specifically is that this is a game on paper the Chicago Bears should win, and somehow they lose. I think I even said something along the lines of the interior defensive front of Tennessee outplays the interior defense or offensive line of the Bears, which now that it's week 1, that kind of makes sense to me too, because you've got a new center.
New system.
You don't even know who the center is going to be at this point.
Yeah. New
system. Caleb Williams' first game. He looks human.
Well, I'm kind of using what you're saying to explain why I believe they'll win first game.
Sure.
First of all, I also want to point out Tennessee losing Derrick Henry. I know his production might not have been what they had become accustomed to, but that's kind of a big loss in my mind, just even from what he meant to that team. But I just feel like there is so much energy and hype over what we believe the Bears can be and are headed towards being. It's a home game at Soldier Field, week 1, but it's not just week 1, because it's like week 1 of a whole new era.
Yeah.
And so I feel like there's going to be crazy energy. And I just see this as a game they'll win. I really want them to win this game, obviously, because I think it will kind of set the tone for what's to come.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think the Bears are a pretty solid team right now. They started last season 0-4 and finished it 7-6. And I know with Montez Sweat edition, you kind of looked at them, pre-trade and post-trade. That's not exactly when it happened, but I think the Bears are a team that could surprise a lot of teams this year.
Definitely. I mean, I think people might look at them more like, like the Houston of this year, like not a team that, although I feel like there's more hype about Chicago,
right,
because of Caleb Williams versus not knowing what CJ Stroud is going to be.
True. Right? But even you look at just that comparison, CJ Stroud did put up some pretty great numbers and led their team to the playoffs, but his supporting cast wasn't as good as what Caleb Williams is going to be.
Correct. I will say, and again, I'm not a Will Levis fan at all. I had predicted them to lose 24-17, by the way. Not that I'm asking you to give scores. They have a good receiving core too, because they added Calvin Ridley. So now they have DeAndre Hopkins and Calvin Ridley. We did see he only did it once, but he did have a 4-touchdown game the first game that he played in last year. So I mean, Levis has the capabilities. He had one 300-yard game.
I mean, you talked about good corners on their side of the ball. I really like what the Bears have on defense, specifically the secondary. So again, it should be good.
I think again on paper, the Bears should win this game.
Let's see.
I have them losing. So
all right.
I got
already we're different.
0-1.
0-1. I got them 1-0.
All right, we move on. What is this? Sunday night football.
My sister's birthday.
The Texans. We just talked about them.
Exactly.
You got an established quarterback who's had a great year. Like you said, not as good of receivers in Houston as there are in Chicago, but Tank Dell.
They're solid.
They got some good receivers there. They're young, right? I have the Bears losing this game as well. 0-2. Uh-oh. The Justin Fields supporters are coming out now, right?
The seat under Eberflus is getting a little warm.
Yeah, real warm.
I have them losing this game. I do hope that the Bears are this year's Texans. But the Texans know that, they know that narrative as well. They're at home. I don't know if that's their first home game, but I kind of sense it might be. I don't know. But it's like you said, it's a Sunday night game. So all the hype is there. I didn't go as far as predicting scores. Hopefully it's a close game if it's a loss.
I have this 26-24.
Yeah, I was gonna say I could see this being a tight game, but I have the Bears losing, so going to 1-1.
I am at 0-2. Eek. 0-2.
So then they go on the road again, back-to-back weeks on the road. This is against the Colts, so the third straight AFC South opponent. Now, the Colts are an interesting team because Anthony Richardson started to look pretty good towards the beginning of last season, but I think he only played, 5 games and then had a season-ending injury.
Yeah.
And so he's going to be coming back from that. They're a team that I'm sure there are people who think they're going to bounce back and be playoff contenders, but you could also see them kind of struggling a bit because it's almost like he partially might be a rookie. I mean, that not in that sense because he knows the system and has been in the league, but not a lot of game experience.
Yeah. I like Anthony Richardson, but like here's the thing, like the Colts are just a subpar team to me. They don't have the right pieces everywhere. Chicago is winning this one. I finally have them on the board with a win. I actually have them dominating this game.
All right.
I have them winning 27-7.
Again, I didn't do scores, but I also have this as a win, and I have them going to 2-1.
Yeah, so I'm at 1-2. You were at 2-1. Not a good start for the year for me, but 2-1 is not bad for a rookie QB.
All right, so now they come back home, week 4 against the Rams. What do you got for this one, Rob? Well, actually, I could lead us on this one.
All right.
So this is their first NFC opponent. Like we said, the division's still way off at this point. They are at home. The Rams, though, I feel are a really good team. And one of the things I like about playing like a West Coast team, again, pre-schedule, I was kind of hoping you get the Rams in like December.
Yeah.
And maybe you get them a team that's not used to playing in the cold.
Moving.
But I think the Rams are a really good squad. We don't know what to expect out of the Bears. There's going to be some ups. There's going to be some downs, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Not just from the perspective of Caleb Williams, but we keep saying it. This is a new offense. This is a new team. There's a lot of new pieces coming in. So I didn't want to get out ahead of myself too much. So I had them losing this game and going to 2-2 through 4. I could honestly see the games not matching up, but the outcome of 2-2 seems pretty likely to me.
All right, so
3-1 would be great.
2-2.
But I have them 2-2 at this point.
So in this one, I mean, first year without Aaron Donald, right?
That's true.
So that defensive presence there and that interior is not going to be as good. Matthew Stafford, though, like you said, you're not getting him late. You're getting him early. He's going to be healthy.
Yep.
Okay. Puka Nacua, Rookie of the Year last year.
Absolutely.
Right?
Legit.
Cooper Kupp should be coming back healthy. Like he didn't start the year healthy, but looked healthy at the end of the year.
Yeah.
They were a playoff team, right?
Yeah.
So I have this as a really tight matchup. I think from a football standpoint, we play really well. Like we see the Chicago Bears play really well. I hate saying we when I talk about the team. We see the Bears play really well. What ends up happening though? Sean McVay outcoaches Matty Eberflus. And I think that's pretty normal to think about. And I don't know if you've seen it, but they did another video where they were asking him questions about his opponents and like asking him random things. Dude, the guy's a machine. Like, is he artificial intelligence? Because they asked him 14 questions. He got all 14 correct. Like things like, do you know how much time was left in games from like 2021? Even when he wasn't even a part of the team.
Wow. Well,
I almost feel like they're either cheating
so
to make it look
losing
like
to the Rams.
Yes,
or?
I have them.
Oh yeah, you said that.
Yeah.
All right, so you have them at 1-3, I believe.
28-24. I have them at 1-3. You have them at
2-2. All right, they stay at home. Like I said, this is their 3 straight home games. Although one of them's in London. Let's not trigger Rob. But this one is against the Panthers. If there's one game this season they must win, to me, it's this one. For obvious reasons, right? We're so excited about Caleb Williams. The only reason Caleb Williams is a Chicago Bear is because of this monumental trade the Bears pulled off with Carolina Panthers. We don't need to go over it. Everyone knows. The Panthers know. So this, to me, I feel like is a statement game that we bamboozled you. This should be a strong victory for the Bears. I have them going to 3-2.
Yeah. So here's exactly what I wrote. If the Chicago Bears lose to the Carolina Panthers, oh boy, the fans will never let them hear the end of it. Ryan Poles fleeced this organization. The hope now is Caleb Williams becomes a superstar. And we look back on this trade as the indicator of when Ryan Poles and the Bears organization finally sprung themselves into the current era of the NFL. I have no doubt that Williams has become a better quarterback than Bryce Young. And Chicago will win this one easily. Another blowout, 31-14.
Wow. How do you spell?
I don't know. P-F-F-F-F-T.
Oh, you said I wrote it. Word. You were that part you editorialized.
That's right. Sound effects.
So you have them improving to 2-3.
I have them at 2-3. You know,
right.
they're starting to, come along. Caleb Williams is really showing something here. The team is gelling.
Absolutely. That's what we all hope is happening. So now they go to a home game. I was thinking during your rant, I didn't know where it was going, that they did give you guys those tickets, but knowing that a whole bunch of people wouldn't be able to cash them in a sense.
Oh, yeah. No, I tried to go to this game.
So this is in London.
My wife will not let me spend over $5,000 to travel for 5 days, unfortunately.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So
hold on.
No,
this is the good part of my video.
Okay.
If it works. On their way to London.
I like it. Nice work, Rob. The date's wrong, though.
That is. It's supposed to be October 13th.
Man, I shot you right down, man. My bad.
Wow, it's supposed to be October 13th. All right.
No worries.
Fantastic. Either way, 8:30 in the morning.
November 13th. You wouldn't have messed that up.
No, I would not have. That is my birthday, for those of you who don't know.
So I feel like even though this is a home game for the Bears, I feel this is a home game for the Jaguars. You cited it. They are used to this trip to London.
Yes.
Whenever teams, you see it in a lot of sports now. Baseball had some games overseas. Football, it's really becoming a thing. But there's a strategy to how you do it. And I would imagine the Jaguars feel pretty good about whatever they've been doing. I'm just kind of worried about that aspect of it. So I have the Bears losing this game and going to even out their record at 3-3, about to enter the bye.
All right, 3-3. So what's interesting is this game was set up if Justin Fields was here, Fields versus Lawrence, right? That would have been kind of cool. Instead, it's Caleb Williams versus Lawrence, and we're going to see. Also cool. It is cool because now we're going to see. Some people say that a lot of people say Caleb Williams is the best prospect since Andrew Luck. Some people say that Caleb Williams is the best prospect since Trevor Lawrence. I didn't have Trevor Lawrence as high as that Andrew Luck side. So, to me, this is just further proving for me that I'm right, and Trevor Lawrence is not as good of a quarterback prospect or an NFL quarterback as Caleb Williams is going to be. I do have this close, though. I have them winning 28-22. Now I am even at 3-3. So we got to the same record through 6 games, just in a very different way of getting there.
And I would say I'd be satisfied with the Bears at 3-3 if they get to their bye at 3-3. I would like anything above that. Hey, of course, even better. 2-4, depending on how it happened.
Yes,
would be a little bit tough to swallow, and anything worse than that, yikes.
Now, as I already said, here we go. The Bears are sleeping. It is bye week. Bears win. They can't lose in the bye week, right? Unless someone trips over their bag and breaks something. Eek. Don't put that out there, Rob.
All right, so then they go. Now they're home. That date doesn't seem like it could be right either, but I guess because of the bye, maybe it's right. Yeah, two weeks, I guess.
Yeah, I went off.
Okay,
the
no, that makes sense. Because 2 weeks later. All right, so they play the Commanders for a 3rd straight season. This is Caleb Williams against Jaden Daniels. So number 1 versus number 2 picks in the draft.
Yep.
That's going to be a storyline, as well as it's in Washington, D.C.
Yep.
This is where Caleb Williams grew up, or at least was in high school, I believe, right?
Yes.
So pretty big storylines there.
Correct.
I have the Bears winning this game and improving to 4-3.
And I also have them winning this game. Again, another blowout, 38-16.
Wow.
I am not a Jaden Daniels fan. I have never been a Jaden Daniels fan. He was my QB5 going into the draft, and I have nothing good to say about them. Montez Sweat revenge game right here.
Wow, I like that. All right, here we go. Now they go on the road, opposite side, west side of the country.
Yep.
And are playing the Cardinals. This is another team that I feel is kind of interesting. Record-wise from last year, they weren't good, but Kyler Murray missed a lot of that.
Yes.
And you draft Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yes.
You have a healthy Kyler Murray. This team, I think, is better than what other teams or what people might think of them. But that being said, I still have the Bears winning this game. So improving to 5-3.
I also have them winning this game. I am now on a 4-game winning streak, by the way.
I was gonna preview that I'm about to go on a little stretch here in my picks.
But the thing is that I'm very sad to see Marvin Harrison Jr. playing another uniform. But I actually say that Roma Dunze outplays him in this game.
Nice.
Bears win 28-20. 28-20.
All right. They do come home. This is a game, I said the Carolina game, like you have to win pretty much.
Yeah.
I also feel that way about this one. The Bears are at a point in my mind where you are just the better team on paper.
Yes.
And you need to win because of that.
Yes.
And especially when you look at home, I didn't even bring this up, but Eberflus, you could have debated on whether or not he should have even come back as coach, but he's had a horrible record against division, horrible record on the road.
Yep. You
got to defend your home territory. This is a inferior team you're playing. I have the Bears winning this one as well and improving to 6-3.
I have to admit I'm a huge Drake May fan as far as when it comes to draft prospects. I have him above everybody else except for Caleb Williams. I did throughout the process put Caleb Williams in that higher tier, right? That said, the Patriots just aren't good.
No, they're not.
They have way too many holes. This is a transition for them without Bill Belichick going in a whole different direction. Bears win. Bears win. Bears win.
All right. Finally, in week 11.
That's 5 games in a row from you guys.
Wow.
Wait, that was the claw.
Finally, week 11. Stinky cheese. We finally see a division opponent in week 11. So at this point, you hope the Bears have worked out some kinks. Obviously now Packers and other teams will get to see what the Bears are all about. Yep. You had just informed us that the Packers will actually be coming off their bye. We all know. We don't have to tell you about the Packers. Jordan Love had a very nice season last year. Can they roll that over into this year? We'll have to wait and see. Surprisingly, I think I heard something that no Packer drafted since 2018 has ever lost to the Bears.
Yeah, I don't believe that.
It's just ways of putting how bad this losing streak has been. But I have them breaking it here. I have the Bears winning this game at home against the Packers. Call me crazy. I have them winning this game and going to 7-3. Am I crazy, Rob?
You're not crazy. I think I'm crazy because I have them on a 6-game winning streak.
Get used to it, man.
Are you kidding me? 6 games in a row?
This is what we hope and think the Bears might be, if not this year, in the years to come.
That's right. So now they are going to take on Jordan Love. They win this game 24-17 is my projection. My thing when it comes to Jordan Love, look, he did have a good year last year. Statistically, his efficiency numbers were good. I think he's going to regress. This is a regression season for me, and I can't wait to see it. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I'm going to stay on this train. He is regression. He's going to regress. He's regressing. They had too many times where he would just dink and dunk and dink and dunk and dink and dunk. To me, it's a Matt LaFleur thing. I think someone's going to finally catch on to the fact that now they have this tape. Can he revise it enough to keep the defenses on their toes? I don't think so. Bears win.
They lose Aaron Jones. They bring in Josh Jacobs. Bears actually played really well against Josh Jacobs when they played the Raiders last year. All right, so now home again, division opponent again. This is the Vikings. Will it already be J.J. McCarthy time? I'm not sure. That Viking is crying. I have him crying because I have the Bears winning and improving to 8-3.
So I don't think it's J.J. I think it's J.J. McCarthy time from the beginning. And if it's not J.J. McCarthy time from the beginning, then they're stupid.
You think it should be, or you think it will be?
I think it should be.
I don't think it will be.
I don't think it will be either because I think
they're going to do what the Bears did.
They're going to follow not even just Fields.
And Trubisky.
Yeah, with Mike Glennon. Mike Glennon, this isn't Kirk
that's
Cousins.
An old way of thinking. That used to be how the NFL worked. It was rare for rookies to start.
Correct.
But now
Yes.
You have a lot invested in them, and you use them while they're
Yep.
in their rookie deal.
Yep.
If you have the guy, you try to get him in there right away, especially when you have a supporting cast.
Correct.
That's good.
Correct. Now, I unfortunately have Chicago falling short in this game.
Okay. You just couldn't have that big of a
I
stretch.
could not have that big of a stretch. I didn't plan it that way, but they lose 21-20. It's a very close game.
So wait a minute. You said before you didn't look at the sequence.
I did not.
You just had the Bears losing the home game they play against the Vikings.
Yes.
Okay. Fair enough. This is a short week. Thanksgiving Day. First game of Thanksgiving. So, you haven't filled yourself up too much yet, probably. This is at Lions. Bears played the Lions very, very well last season in both games, but still found a way to lose. Remember? 7 out of the 8 quarters. Oh, remember when I said they went 7-6? That also included some of these losses where they were like 99% certain of winning. So I think the Bears could really be on the come up this season, but I do have them losing on Thanksgiving Day to the Lions, or the Kitty Cats as you have them.
Yes, the Kitty Cats, unfortunately. These Kitty Cats.
Claw.
Yeah, unfortunately, these Kitty Cats find a way. I don't know if they just like cuddle and that puts the bear to sleep. Something happens.
So
they hibernate them. I also have the Bears losing, which is really sad because it's primetime Thanksgiving. Everyone's just chowing down. It's my brother-in-law's birthday on Thanksgiving. He's an Eagles fan, so he doesn't care. The Bears lose.
So I have them at 8-4. Now this one, week 14 at 49ers. This was like one of the easiest games for me to call. The Bears are not there yet. I mean, could they make a run this year? We all hope so. But the 49ers are still, in my mind, one of the best teams in the conference. You're playing them on the road. It's it won't be on a short week.
No, this is the start.
This is like a longer break, actually. But I just think the 49ers are too good, too much of a complete team. And I have the Bears losing this game and dropping to 8-5. So after a bit of a streak, I have them losing 2 in a row and dropping to 8-5.
All right. I also have them losing this game for basically the same reasons that you do. I actually think they get beat pretty bad. They lose 30-17.
Wow.
Yeah.
So now, third consecutive road game, and it's a division game because obviously the division games for the Bears are going to be packed in at the end. So this is at the Vikings, Monday Night Football. I have the Bears winning. So if you're listening very carefully, you now see that I have the Bears sweeping the season series against the Vikings, improving to 9-5.
All right, so you give them another win. For those of you who can't see what I'm doing, I'm keeping track of our wins and losses. I'm going to have a graphic come up here at the end of our episode. So those of you who can't actually see the screen, who aren't watching on YouTube, which by the way, if you're not watching on YouTube, go to our YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, get into the drawing for a free Chicago Bears jersey. Roma Dunze, Caleb Williams, doesn't matter. Go ahead. But this Vikings logo actually has a Mount Me hat, right? Mountie hat. And it says Mounted Police on it. So.
All right. So we are well into December at this point. Yeah. Coming up on the holiday. Bears actually play the day after Christmas.
Yes.
And so this is where the schedule gets very tight in terms of games within a tight span of time.
For the last 2 years, they've actually played on Christmas and on New Year's Eve.
Right. You're right.
So now they'll be the day after. We're not quite there yet.
I mentioned it before, but that Vikings game was Monday night. So Bears are playing only 6 days rest.
Thursday.
Monday to Sunday.
Yeah.
And then they're going to play on Thursday. Or no. I don't know when Christmas is this year, but it's the day after that. Sorry. Let's stick with this.
Yeah.
So this is home game against the Lions after recently playing them Thanksgiving. What do you got here, Rob?
Yes. So I have I have the Bears winning this game. I have them. I didn't mention it with the last one. I had the Bears splitting with Minnesota. I have the Bears splitting with the Lions, or in this case, a different kitty cat logo. So I have them winning this game, splitting with the Lions, and I lost my phone, so I can't tell you what my score prediction was.
So I have them splitting the season series with the Lions, but I had them losing on Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah.
So I have them winning this one at home. Big game, obviously. We hope it's a big game because all the division games got packed here. So hopefully they're all going to matter. But I have the Bears winning this game and improving to 10-5.
All right. Week 17. Now it's the day after Christmas.
So that's just 4 days after that game.
Yes.
So it is Thursday night.
Thursday night football.
So this will be their third game in 10 days. I do not like that.
Yeah.
I surprised myself before and had this as a win, but for some reason I wasn't looking close enough at the dates.
Mm-hmm.
Then when I caught that, I said, nope, I just don't see it. This would be Seahawks, where Waldron was offensive coordinator last year.
Yep.
I don't know. The Seahawks are going to be a tough team to kind of predict, but once again, kind of like you mentioned with the Patriots, they're moving on from a long-term coach.
Yeah.
So how does that play into their season? Who knows? But I have the Bears losing this, where way back to the beginning of the episode, I almost feel like this is because of the scheduling.
Yeah, and I could totally understand the reasoning behind it. If I were to look back and like make some changes, like I probably would, just based on like having a 6 games winning streak followed by a 3-game losing streak. Like it just kind of seems a little odd, but yeah, I don't know. I have them winning this game, partly just because it could either go two ways. I think Shane Waldron knows the team well enough, like the personnel that are there, right, from a player standpoint, well enough that it helps the defense take on his previous weapons on offense. They have good receiving core too.
Makes sense.
Or it's the opposite effect. Seattle knows Waldron so well that they could play them pretty well too. But
yeah, either could play out. And it's funny, when you just said what you said, I thought this late in the season, do they have a good receiving core?
Yeah.
I keep hearing, Metcalf and as trade possibilities. So those types of things we can't possibly project here in May.
No.
But I have them losing. You have them winning.
By the way, we're going to do another game-by-game prediction.
Oh, yeah. This is
not
not
the
it.
Start of the season.
Oh, yeah. This is
right?
not
This
it.
is the schedule release game-by-game prediction.
We were just so giddy. We had to do one.
Yeah.
So
right. 100%.
I have them dropping that game to 10-6. You have them winning. But what's the overall record at this point?
I actually have them winning this game pretty handedly, 30-21.
Okay.
I am at 10-6.
Okay. So we're both at 10-6.
Yes.
Which is a solid season, I think.
Oh, 100% for a rookie quarterback.
Yeah, that's a solid season.
Brand new offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator.
Right. So if they're 10-6, certainly they're in the hunt graphic, if not already seeded as a playoff team, which I didn't even get into all that. But
and they're not pretenders like they were with only 5 wins going into December last year.
Exactly. So with me saying that this being the third game in 10 days, and that's a reason to lose, I feel like that extra rest they're going to have going into this final game of the season at the Packers, just like last season, but I have it a different result. I have the Bears winning this game, and so that means I have them sweeping the Packers this season.
Get those brooms out, guys.
After not winning anything for years and years and years, I believe this is a time for things to change. So I have them winning the game, improving to 11-6. You're in. I mean, I don't know if that wins the division because
you're in the playoffs.
For sure you're in, but I don't know if you win the division or if you're top wild card. But hey, we'll take it either way.
So, if for those of you again who aren't watching at home, I got another fun graphic up here. It's an actual cheesehead football player.
Got that peanut butter neck.
He's got that peanut butter neck. I did not have them sweeping the Packers.
Makes sense.
In fact, I have them splitting every
3-3 in the division.
Yeah, they're going to go 3-3 in the division. But here's what's interesting. I did not plan this way, but because it worked out this way, the Packers got extra rest going into that game in week 11. Now the Bears get extra rest going into this week, but they already have a playoff seed locked up. There's nothing for them to play for. Like the seeding's not going to make much of a difference. They're not getting that 1 seed. They're not getting the one team that gets a bye, right?
Who are you talking about? The Packers?
No, the Bears.
Oh, the Bears.
Right.
Okay.
At 10-6.
Yeah.
11-6 wasn't going to get them that 1 seed.
Interesting.
So they rest their players to a degree. They let them play 2 series.
Ugh.
That's the reason why they end up losing this game. The Packers are already out of it. The only team that's left in the NFC North is the Detroit Lions. Bears and Lions go to the playoffs with the Bears having a 10-7 record. I'm not going to tell you who wins what.
Interesting.
But
I mean, I guess matching up what I said and what you said, if that scenario presents itself where it doesn't really benefit you one way or another,
yeah,
you could really use the rest after playing 3 games in 10 days and hopefully knowing you're playing the week after this in the playoffs, which is uncharted territory for the Bears for the last few years.
Yeah. Tyson Bagent, he's does an admirable job, but he's not good enough. I'm sorry. He's not.
Well, in the scenario you just said, that TBD isn't going to be flexed into anything too crazy.
No, I do.
It's just going to be a regular noon game.
I am curious, though, with that. Could they become the primetime game? I feel like you can.
Oh, for sure.
Right. So
if this,
everyone
if this has
up in arms,
implications,
they only have 3 primetime. They could be a 4th primetime game.
Oh, and there's going to be flex at the end of the season.
Right.
So I think the Bears could end up there more than we think.
Yeah.
And who cares? I don't care.
I'm
going to watch every single one.
100%. And we're going to be here the whole season, show after
bringing
show
you
after show.
The Hallis Huddle week in and week out.
All right. So that's the end of the video. Now,
well done, Rob. Well done on the video. These are our picks.
Yeah.
Rob, you are orange. I'm white.
That's right.
It would have been weird if you had gone the other way.
That's
so.
You're colored and I'm white.
Good job with that. Way to go, making me white.
That's right.
So either way, 11-6, 10-7. When I did these picks, I had 11-6, and then I saw how the schedule came. I landed on 11-6 again. But I kind of looked at what a worst case scenario and a best case would be. I have it ranging from worst case, like the ball really isn't bouncing your way. I'm not talking injuries. I'm just talking, could I see a game going one way or another? I think 7-10 or 8-9 is about as bad as I could see it being.
Yeah.
And that's not that good because that's what you were last year. We think you've improved quite a bit. That scenario, are we talking about a coach change? That would be kind of bad news because we want to start breaking some patterns. Trubisky, Fields, both in their second year, having to be with a new coach. You don't want that trend to continue. But that's my worst case scenario. I think best case, 14-3 is what I put as best case. Now, that seems almost impossible to imagine. But I've seen worse Bears teams than that surprise me than the way they look on paper here.
12-4 with Mitch Trubisky.
Exactly.
So we didn't do a best case, worst case scenario. We probably could have.
Oh, that's already. We got another episode.
I was going to say that we're already over an hour here, so I think that'll be something we can do here in the future. But yeah, I mean, worst case, like you said, to me the floor is 7 games. If they lose more than 7 games, then
or win fewer than 7.
If they win fewer than 7 games, then Matt Eberflus is definitely on the hot seat. That said, I think he gets 2 years. Just
they go 11-6, he might be coach of the year.
Yeah,
I heard in Vegas he's tied for lead in terms of odds of winning. Gambling odds of winning coach of the year.
And that's one of those things where it's like, are you really coach of the year, or did you just find yourself a superstar quarterback?
Did you have 2 top 10 picks that both could be blue chip players?
Correct.
Who cares? I don't know why they vote the way they do. Because it's weird. Like Andy Reid just can't win it now because he's not getting worse just because. Oh well, whatever. We're off the.
I don't even
topic
know who won it last year. The guy from Houston,
Cleveland,
maybe was it Cleveland?
I think Cleveland's coach. I could be wrong. That's how much it doesn't matter.
That's right.
It will matter to us if Eberflus.
You know what matters? Rookie of the year, which is going to be Caleb Williams. MVP, which is going to be Caleb Williams. Wow. Super Bowl MVP, which is going to be Caleb Williams.
Oh my gosh! All right, we got to end this, folks.
Best case scenario.
Okay, I'll take everything you said, but that's a long shot.
All right, I have a new ending for us.
All right,
you ready?
No.
Bear down.
Bear down.
Claws up.
I knew you were going claw. I figured it out.
It's like peace up, A-town down, but it's like the opposite.
I like it. All right, nice job. Could have switched seats. Hey, good call bringing Jake Johnson's name into the episode.
That's right.